So this is MELTALK 2 with Kane Beatz, my good friend. I'm excited for this in particular. I've always wanted to sit down and really have a conversation with him about his profession. Because knowing him for as long as I've known him, and then being able to see how he's been able to create a lane for himself and be successful, especially in the music industry. I just always I felt good, to know, man, I used to tell my girlfriend all the time, we watch a show, and on the show they use another one of his, actually they use the same track as the intro to the show. And I was like, yo, I know the guy that produced this track. He's my friend, my real friend. So just kind of showing off a bit. But yeah, so what I wanted to start with asking you, in your presentation, you kind of started with saying your definition of what you determined to be a grind, right? And it's doing something over and over until you get to accomplish what it is you want to do. How hard is it to stick to something when it doesn't seem to work out the way you want it to work?
It's one of the hardest things in the world. We're all human, and human nature naturally, this isn't working, what's next? You know what I mean? But the definition that I came up with for grind is so important because your grind is the key to you going to the next level and staying focused. And your grind might not necessarily be your passion right now, but without that grind, without that hustle, you're never going to even get there. Do you know what I mean? You need capital. I always talk about it. And the only way for you to get off the ground is find your grind. Your grind could be your passion. Right now, you might not be in your passion, and you're grinding something else to get to your passion. And it's just important to almost, I tell friends all the time that are artists, you have to almost be a racehorse and put on those blinders. You know what I mean? Because you can't worry about what's going on your left, can't worry about what's going on your right. I mean, it's times when I've had people who started out the same level as me go past me, and in your mind is naturally, your human nature is jealous, you'll get envious, but you can't allow that to happen. You have to stay focused on your grind, and allowing me to stay focused instead of allowing myself to get jealous, I allowed myself to learn from those people. These are my friends. So I'm like, yo, what are you doing different from me? And it's not much. It's just we're staying focused. And if you're not staying focused, you're wasting time. You're wasting space on the earth. You know what I mean? Because there's so many people who would kill for your opportunity. And as long as I remember that there's a dude right here, maybe in this crowd, who will take my spot right now, you can't let the grind go away. It won't allow you. But once you fix your mental, it becomes, when I was making beats, I was having fun, and I almost didn't always know I was grinding until I achieved success. And then I realized that, wow, I'm doing this every day. I don't even need to do it. I have the money now. Why am I still doing this? To get to the next level. Because, the grind goes in different levels, and sometimes you're grinding in the beginning, and you start reaching your level, and then that fervor dies. And that's when the grind resets. You know what I mean? That's what's going to make you different from, being a regular producer, being Timberland. You know what I mean? So for me, it's just staying focused and looking what's ahead.
So where did the name come from? Kane Beatz.
Kane Beatz. Yeah. Okay. Rest in peace to my best friend. His name is Mimi. You might have met him one time. He really brought me into music, and he died early on in my career. It was tragic, but it was a learning thing for me. But we were in a rap group, and his name was D-Blaze, and my name was Hurricane, and it was bad. It was just bad. Our songs were bad. Everything was bad about it. The names were bad. My brother one time said, you sound like the Weather Channel when you guys come on. It's hot and it's Hurricane. But I started selling beats, and I was Hurricane Beats. I changed it to Kane Beats, and I didn't want to get confused with cocaine, and I didn't want to get confused with Cain and Abel. You know what I mean? So I just went Kane, K-A-N-E. You know what I mean? With the K. I took off the C and just kept it there.
Okay, cool. So Hurricane Beats, Kane Beats.
Yeah,
Kane is in the building.
That's the exclusive
There
story.
you go. There it is. There it is. So while you were talking, you mentioned something that I thought was kind of cool. Were you always an outgoing person?
No,
No. Because
not always.
In your speech, you said that social ability is valuable.
It's
and you spoke
extremely
about
valuable.
how being sociable was very valuable. Just kind of expand on that.
I can't even express enough how important you being able to talk to someone is. Let me give you an example. No matter what we're doing here, we all need one thing from each other to accomplish our goals. And that's just, I can't do anything if I don't have your attention. Do you know what I mean? How do I get your attention? And that's what it comes down to. So,
how did you get out of your, I guess, your...
Yeah, it comes down to I'm not getting anywhere. Do you know what I mean? What do I want to do with myself? And I had to break out of my box. It's not something anyone can teach you. You have to do it for yourself. And it comes back to me saying you can't worry about what people think of you. So once I started breaking out of my box, I started going to events. And I realized that people wanted from me what I wanted to give them. And it was just me getting out of my shell. And so once I can get someone's attention, it became obvious to me what I needed to do. So I would make a whole beat CD, do the whole thing, pass it out, and I would let the CD do the most talking for me, and I was getting this here. So then I started going up to these artists, like, hey, I made this beat you're rapping on right now. And they're like, oh, hey, yeah. And you're talking to them, and you get to know these people. And then when you have that social ability to speaking to someone from a view of not a fan, not just necessarily all about them. You bring something to the table. Countless times, so many artists have called me and just want to talk because of the relationship we were able to build. And if somebody can build a relationship with you, when you hear my beat, you have my picture in your head. Do you know what I mean? Versus when you hear a random beat, you don't know anything with that person. And it's just, especially in music and being a creative, thank you. And being a creative being social is just absolutely important. And even for you, if you're going to that next meeting, what about you is going to make that person pick you? What about you is going to make that person stand out? What about you is relatable? Do you know what I mean? It's not necessarily putting on a facade. It's making yourself accessible. And when a person who becomes accessible, a person who becomes flexible, you know what I mean? You have the ability to be there for people. You have the ability to be there when a person calls. When Nikki hit me at 7 a.m., come to the studio right now, I can go there. She's not calling everyone. She's calling me. Why? Why does she even feel comfortable enough to call me at 7 a.m.? It's just about when you allow yourself to be yourself and you deal with people, and especially everybody in here, if you're not a Christian, being a Christian, it gives you a different light. We're all aware. You know what I mean? It just gives you a different light when people talk to you. Because I'm not trying to talk to you to get something from you. I'm trying to talk to you to build you up, build us up. And when you I feel like when you're genuine, people see it. There's no real answer. You know what I mean? It's just about being yourself, being genuine, not faking it. Because, 9 times out of 10, people can tell. You know what I mean? So for me, it was just like, I even had a guy tell me one time, he was like, everybody gets along with you. And I was like, not everybody, but yeah. It was just really big for me to break out of that box and get going, man.
And let's talk about perfection, because I know I had to kind of get myself out of trying to be perfect at everything, or not wanting to do things or put things out unless it was like absolutely perfect the way I wanted it. And I had to learn.
People don't get that.
Nothing.
I say it.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you're never going to be or find something to be perfect. You're always going to be nitpicking at it, and finding things to change and tweak and whatever. So, especially being the creative type that you are in making beats, did you have to transition from trying to perfect everything and just not caring?
To keep up with the quantity of work coming in, I had to look past it.
Was there ever a time where you created a beat and you thought it was trash and you gave it to someone and it
Yes,
kind of made a hit?
I can give you so many examples. Yeah, absolutely. It was something that I learned early, and people have a real problem grasping that concept. I tell you, master your craft, but you don't need to perfect it. And because mastering your craft is the whole, right? you're everything. You know the ins and outs of your business. Perfection is so present. You know what I mean? And if you're living in the present and you're waiting for the present to get right, you'll be waiting forever. And I see so many people say, really perfection is fear. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people, they have fear and they use a scapegoat. Oh, I needed to be perfect. I need my video content to be like this guy's video. I need the effects to go across the screen. And you just need to do it. You just need to do it. And for me, it was something I learned, man, like early on. I did a song with Lil Wayne called Steady Mobbin'. It was the first song that put me on the map. It wasn't a big hit record, but it was in the streets, it was humongous. So it got me a lot of fame. And when it came time to mix the song, I lost the files. Every single file was lost. And I didn't know what to say. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I was like, man, YOLO, we're gonna do it anyway. You know what I mean? And the song was never mixed and charted top 10 on the hip hop charts. Never even had a mix. And at that point, I realized it's about the craft. You know what I mean? If I spend every time perfecting everything I do, I will miss opportunities. And that's what you can't do as an entrepreneur. You don't have that opportunity to miss out on opportunity. You need everything that comes to you. You can't leave money on the table. And that's what's important.
So I think this is the question I'm going to ask everyone today. What do you define success as? What does being successful mean to you?
That's a tough question because for everyone it differs. But for me, success is working in your passion every day, whatever that is to you. If you're working in your passion and you're making $50,000 a year and you're affording all your bills, you're success. You're not where you want to be yet, but you're making a success. To me, anyone working in their passion and surviving has made a success. Doesn't necessarily have a monetization number on it. You know what I mean? It's more about you waking up every day and your purpose is being fulfilled and you're living doing it, because that's what people can't do. And that's what I think why we're all here.
Yeah, good. That's good. That's good. I'm going to open the floor up to any questions. Yep.
I don't have a question, but back to the question that Charles asked him about perfection, I wanted to say, and he said it right, perfection is fair. And that's exactly what it is. And perfection is not only what you deem to be perfect, but I think we try to confuse perfection and what we think everybody else is going to think is perfect. So when he then says it's not mixed, but it did great in the streets, it was perfect to the streets, but it wasn't perfect to him. So sometimes it's not perfect to us, but it could be perfect to the person buying it. It could be perfect to the commercial person, to the commerce. But again, you know, it may not be perfect to me. So sometimes, and this is not to say that you should lower your standard or lower your bar.
No.
But again, sometimes you just need to be a little less, what's the word? Sometimes we are harder on ourselves than we should be.
Critical, yeah.
Yes, so we should allow ourselves, and again, you know, it's one of those things, but I'm just going to wait until the perfect time. Well, perfection is a process. So if you're going to wait until the perfect time to get started and you don't start, then you'll never get there. Okay.
Preach. Yo, she hit it on the head.
Absolutely.
On the head.
Yeah. Yep.
My man.
Well, I'm pretty sure everybody knows my name, Cedric. I wanted to ask, what are some of the things you had to sacrifice? What are some of the major sacrifices you made to get to where you are today?
Wow, man. I mean, just in the beginning, it was, I mean, you always hear it's hard. And when you hear people say you don't make money in the beginning, I almost don't want to tell you that because it's true, but I don't want to get anybody unstarted. For me, it was a sacrifice. Oh, man, it was moving away from my family. It was dropping out of school. It was not having money to live. It was, hitting rock bottom, having to borrow, having to give up what I was good. You know what I mean? I had a father who wanted me to follow in his footsteps. Do you know what I mean? And not necessarily, I'm not saying I'm not in his footsteps, like, because I still preach every chance I get to people, but my church is not in church. My church, I reach a whole different I reach a whole different, I reach a whole different crowd that my dad will never reach. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, it was, a lot of sacrifice was just dealing with the criticism of what I was going through, and then looking at my family in the face and being like, I can't afford my rent. I can't afford my car, losing my car. You know what I mean? I gave you the story of, I'll share the story with you, when I was rock bottom, and I had $50 in my bank account, but I was still determined, and I had met this artist named Kane Michelle, and she wanted me to come to the studio, and they had already bought the beat. They just hadn't paid me. They bought the beat, and they gave me $15,000 for the beat. I had $50 in my bank account. They gave me $15,000 for the beat, but I hadn't got it yet. We had to finish the song. So we get in the studio. She was already, I don't know, drinking or something, and she was on one. I mean, this is not right. This is not right. Going off on me. I mean, just breaking me down to nothing. And I'm sitting here like, oh, wow. So at one point I got up, and I was like, yo, I'm done with this. I'm getting out of here, blah, 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 left out. This girl, I called her a word that she didn't like. This girl turns around, pow, punches me in the back of my neck. I'm like, oh my God. And at that point, I'm like, I need this money. Like, I need this money. So it's like, what do I do? So even at that point, I'm sacrificing my pride, my manhood, to sit down and talk to this girl. But what happened from that conversation? She cried, she broke down, she told me about her life, she told me about her family, she told me why she's where she's at. And from that, we made way more songs. But if I would have allowed myself to be offended, to be too big and bad for her, I'd still be broke. Still be broke. So yeah, from that situation, that $15,000, I opened up a studio. In that studio, I made Bedrock. I made Super Bass for Nicki. We made Bottoms Up for Trey Songz. We made Super Bass. We made that's the Lupe song. The Show Goes On for Lupe Fiasco. I mean, all from this studio that I bought with $15,000 after getting punched in the neck.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So I mean, it's just, it's the blinders, it's staying focused. I mean, it's all sacrifice. But anybody who wants to be an entrepreneur, the sacrifice is almost not noticed, because if you're in your passion, it's worth it so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm almost in tears, man. I'm a producer, I'm an artist. I'm from Montgomery, Alabama.
Hey,
yeah.
one time.
And,
you know 16? You know M16?
I know M16.
That's my boy.
Who did Duffel Bad Boy?
Yeah.
I met him. I used to work in radio, 90.7. I was a program director of the student station at ASU.
Nice.
And I connected with him at one of our venues. But I'm not in radio no more. I'm full-time, man. And I got a wife. We got kids. And everything you saying, the criticism, the blinders, you know, we working to establish a record label in Montgomery, bro. I ran into one of my old professors. I had my kids in the car picking them up from camp. He said, because I got real good in radio, man. He was like, so what are you doing now? I heard you left the station. I used to be a youth pastor. I used to do all this. What are you doing now? I said, we about to build a record label. I'm in the Grand Marquis, tinted windows.
I already know.
I got 4 kids. I got 2 in the front, 2 in the back. He looking at me, you finna start a record label? Like, I just told my wife, I was like, yo, I felt you know, but God has made it to where over the years, my parents, they're in it now.
Yeah.
My grandmother, my aunt, they're in it now, man. And I just want to tell you, I ain't really got no question, bro, but just hearing you, man. You feel me?
Appreciate that.
Like, just hearing you, bro.
And, bro, like, if nobody knows where you at, I know where you at, bro. Because being a producer, it's a joke. Like, you tell somebody, you just came from radio, I'm about to be a producer. They gonna look at you. Bro, I was in Atlanta, where you throw a rock and you hit a producer, a rapper, or something. Do you know what I mean? So, if you heard anything I was saying today, you gotta set yourself apart. And you already doing that because you're here. You know what I'm saying? And I can see, like, looking at you, that is real. You know what I'm saying? Because you wouldn't stop doing what you was doing if you wasn't gonna focus on your passion. So yeah, bruh, you were doing the right thing. After this, get with me. You know what I'm saying? Because I really love meeting producers like you, because I can give you, I mean, I can help you myself, but there's things I can do to tell you how you can live and still do your job. You know what I'm saying? Because as a producer, you got to get the money from everywhere. You know what I'm saying? You got to get the money 500 here, 1,000 here, 1,000 until you make where you need to go. And it's a lot of things you can do, bro, that I can get with you and show you where you can just make, you know, an extra 75 a day, an extra 100 a day, just flipping beats. You know what I'm saying? Word. So yeah, let's get, appreciate that, bro.
Any more questions? Sure.
Yo,
Okay.
this man right here is the truth. Yo, 8 years in music school?
8 years, yeah.
He has perfect pitch, plays by ear, plays classical plays. I mean, he's going where people are not going. You going to China when?
October,
China, play with a full orchestra. Yo, people like you inspire me too, man. I just want to let you know that.
Same here, Kane.
Thank you.
Same
Thank you.
here. I just had a question. You know, you already put all my business out there, but I just graduated from school, and you know, I spent a lot of time. I'm a musician, and I spent a lot of time really perfecting the craft and really trying to be excellent at it. How do you balance working at your craft on a daily basis with the business side? Because that's something I've never had to do, and now I got to do it. Could you give me some guidance or advice on that?
Yeah, it was something I had to start doing too. In the beginning, it was exciting to me. I couldn't believe people were emailing me. But I mean, in your business, it's a little bit different because perfection is key. You know what I'm saying? In your business, you don't need to perfect. Your craft is already perfect. The business of it, you just need a master. You know what I mean? And that's what are you doing with your time when you're not doing what you do with your time? Like for me, it's like, what do you do after 5? When the job's done, what are you doing after 5:30 when you have no more job? You know what I mean? When you're done with your show in China, what are you doing with your time? Right. That's when you know you do what Carissa did. Right. You go put in the time to learn business. You put in the time to talk to people like me, talk to people like Charo who can inform you. You know what I mean? Like I said, I love meeting young entrepreneurs and helping them do it the right way, because so many times you don't. So for me, there was a book I read. It was called Everything You Need to Know About the Music Business, and it did a lot for me. Okay. In your industry, it could do a little bit for you, but more so, you just need to read, and talk to people. So, like I said, success and financial literacy are parallel. And if you don't have the financial literacy, when your success comes, man, those boys will take advantage of you like something else. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I was glad that you're already concerned about it. So for me, it's just when I'm not making beats, I'm learning. Okay. And when I'm not learning, it's family time. And if it's not that, it's back to making beats. You know what I mean? Because I don't have time to play around right now. You just don't. You just don't. What's up, bro?
What's up, man? When working with an artist and after having success with them and they bring you back, do you ever feel pressure to create another big hit? And if so, how do you deal with that?
You always feel pressure. Every time I hit the studio, it's pressure. You just got to perform. It's like an athlete. You know what I mean? You go out there and you perform. Not necessarily do you get the hit. It's not every time I get the hit. Like I was telling somebody today, I told you guys about 7 movies we did last year. But I didn't tell you guys about the 100 songs we submitted to get the 7. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of it is rejection. Like a lot of times I don't get the song. And a lot of times I do. Like I think I've had 7 top 10 songs. And I think I've had 100 placements. And I've made at least 10,000 beats. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, but that comes from the grind. Everything gets better. Do you know what I mean? So the pressure is always going to be there. And you always do your best to perform, but it's not guaranteed, but you just can't stop. You just can't let nobody say, no, you don't have to hit. And listen, because what do you mean? You're going to be calling my phone in 2 weeks when I'm on the radio. You know what I mean? So, yeah, my thing is, like I say, I just stay focused and deal with what comes to me at a time. Yeah, there's times when you wanna give them the hit, but it doesn't always work like that. So I don't play, I just go into every session and do my best and give it my all, and I know like if that's what it's gonna come down to. You know what I mean?
Appreciate it.
Good afternoon. My name is Angela Gathright.
Hi, Angela.
I'm from the good old city of North Carolina, and everybody know the person from my hometown is J. Cole.
Hey.
And so with that being said, I'm a musician. I play by ear, and I've been playing since I was 5. Now, in that arena, I've always had to push my way through it's a male-dominated profession.
Absolutely.
And so my question is, how do I professionally set myself up for development to be a producer or to be...
That's a good question. That's a good question. And I understand because being a female in any industry is already, it's challenging. And I get it firsthand. Then being a black female, it's already, you know the stats there.
Right.
So it really comes down to, I don't even want to sound harsh. Do you know what I mean? But you literally cannot listen to anyone. You have to block everything out. So your goal is to be a producer?
Yes, and write a song with my son. He has sickle cell anemia, and that's my focus, is to bring more awareness and research to that.
Okay.
Right, and he wrote some beats.
He makes beats?
Yes.
Okay.
And he stopped doing it because he was in the hospital for a long stint. But I have the files, but I don't have the know-how of where to go. And then I have my own songs, but they need to be copyrighted, or it's more legal stuff along with it.
There's no legal stuff.
Really?
Yeah, there's no legal stuff. That's a big myth. I don't know where people are going, but since 2001, the copyright laws changed. Anytime you build anything on your computer, it's automatically copyrighted. There's a date right there with it. Anytime you save a file, it's copyrighted. So don't think about the legalities no more. That's a big thing I see people do. Just do it. Just go. You know what I mean? And like I said, the best thing you can do right now is get someone's attention. Where's everyone's attention? In their phone. Well, how do you get in someone's phone? You go to Instagram. You should be posting 10, 15 times a day. And I'm one to talk because I don't post enough, but I'm saying if I was in your situation, I would be spreading out as soon as possible, breaking down walls every chance I get. Yeah, it's going to be tough, and I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but you're in the right place. You're here, you're meeting people, and you're honest about your story. And that's where I see people, they make mistakes if they come in like, I'm here. No, just be completely honest. And so you want to break through as a producer, as a musician. What are you doing to start? You know what I mean? What's your first step?
My first step is to go back to school to learn the...
No.
No school.
No school. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't want to ask how old you are, but school is not what you need to be necessarily a musician as a producer. Okay. As a producer. What do you think you're going to learn there?
The theory behind it, because we play by ear, is different. But most people want you to play by notes.
No. I make a beat how I feel. You know what I'm saying? I make a beat how I feel. And the person who can play by ear is 100% more valuable than any producer who can read music in the music industry. I promise you. Let me tell you, a lot of these artists want to work from scratch. So you tell me, if I sing a note, you can play it right now. If I sing a chord, you can play the entire progression.
Yes.
Exactly. That's so much more valuable to an artist working on the spot than a person who can read music. Because music is all interaction, it's all feelings, it's all how you do it. And when you're creating with someone and they're just, and you can, boom, hit the notes, boom, and you're keeping up at the pace they are, it's so much more valuable. My advice to you would be BeatStars, download that app, SoundClick.com, go to that website, and use your Instagram. SoundClick.com is a website you can sell beats. Instagram and BeatStars is a website where you can, it's a community for producers. So in this community, nobody sees your face. They don't know nothing about you. They just know that you're hot. So you're in this forum with these producers and you're meeting people. So many producers have blown up from these platforms just being online. So my first step is you just got to get out there and you got to start introducing yourself to people like you told me. Be like, hey, I'm a musician. I do this. And if you're not doing that, then you're not really moving forward. You know what I mean? School and all that stuff is fear. You know what I mean? School is good if you're going to be a doctor, if you're going to be a lawyer. But if you just want to be a producer, don't use school to block you off because you can go back to school at any time. You know what I mean? So I would start now.
So again, whether the website's BeatStars.com?
BeatStars is an app. It's an app. BeatStars, it's an app. BeatStars, yep, it's an app. and then it's also a community with a forum online. And so what you bring to the table that every producer wants is you can create. So if I was you, what I would do is I would make a CD of all my creations, no full beats. No full beats, just the sound, the melodies, right? And I would give them to all these producers I met. And through that, I'm building relationships. I'm bringing something to somebody who doesn't have this. I'm valuable because now you can make a beat basically in 2 minutes because I gave you an amazing sample. And what do I get out of giving you that sample? I get publishing. And what I want with publishing, that's how I'm gonna feed my kid. That's how I'm gonna get out of the situation I'm in. And so I would say, yeah, just meet people, you collaborate.
Thank you so much.
All right, so we spoke in the back, but
Hey, are you alumni one time?
yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I work with the youth, career development, leadership development. So my first question is personal, or to the benefit of me. I'm wondering if I can share your story with our students, the $15,000 punch.
Ah, exactly, 100%. I got you.
Bet.
I got you.
Question number 2, do you love winning or do you hate losing, and why?
I hate losing more than I love winning. Absolutely.
That's a hard question. I hate losing.
I hate losing.
But I hate losing, but you don't want to get distracted. I love winning more. Because winning is where it comes from. Losing, it don't get you nowhere. You can hate it all you want. But, I like winning.
It's good.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I have truly enjoyed myself, and I thank my friend, Dr. Mary Warren, for telling me about this event and inviting me, first off. But I thank God for being here and watching you all. So I'm in the over 45 crowd, as you know.
No way.
Yeah.
You don't look like it.
You don't look a day over.
Yeah.
You don't look a day over 30.
Oh, yeah, well, praise God. But I am actually when I was born, my mother taught us how to sing. So as children, we were childhood evangelists. So as I grew older, I started singing and singing and singing. So I love to sing. Yeah. Not only do I sing, I write. Okay. But like you, telling us, get out there and just do it. So I written probably about 17, 18 songs.
That's a start. You recorded them?
Not musically. Okay. I sent them to a friend of mine that's a musician. He did them for me, but I have never tried to just get out there. Okay, so that's part of my question today. What do you do? And I asked the Lord this. He downloaded all these songs in my spirit. He told me, he gave me everything, musically, what they should sound like, everything. When you say beats, so I'm not that familiar with the word beats. But I know how to put it on my keyboard and let it go. Okay?
Yeah. That's the beat right there.
Amen.
Amen.
But I have been trying to play my own stuff, and that's okay. But I say I'm not perfect and I'm not good at it. But my whole point is I want to get out there, though. I've been writing songs since 1989, so that's a long time. Right? Yeah. So to be here among all you guys and to hear all this stuff, I am really encouraged. And to know that you are actually sitting up there and saying, get with me, and telling this one, get with me, and I'll show you what to do. That is awesome. Yeah. And I praise God for all of y'all, not just you, but all of y'all.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed everything that I heard.
Thank you.
Amen. And I appreciate it. Amen. So y'all pray for me.
Yeah. So what's your next step though? We ain't get to there. What's your next step?
Well, I have so many things that God has given me to do, but I want to get my music out by the end of this year, 2019.
Amen.
Amen.
So you're gonna record 1 song, 2 songs?
Actually, so many that's ready. I'm thinking about doing 4.
Ooh, that's what's up.
I'm
gonna give you my email, and I need every song in there.
Okay.
I need them. I need to hear them.
Okay.
I need to hear them because it's just important for you. What I think is, you see how you stood up here and you told me everything, but you mentioned I'm over the 45 club. That's not important.
Okay.
That's not important. You don't have to tell nobody none of that. You know what I mean? For you, the fact that you're here and you're ready, there's no better time than now. And like you said, you're not worried about being perfect or none of that no more. Just get it going. And then as soon as you record it, watch the opportunities that come to you.
Amen.
Watch.
All right. right. I appreciate you.
Thank
God
you.
bless
Thank
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's up, bro?
Wanted to, first of all, thank you, man, for the inspiration. Just listening to your story.
Yo, you inspired me already.
Couple of questions for you, man. Now that you've kind of experienced a certain level of success, I wanted to know your accessibility and flexibility to people who are trying to get to where where you want to get to. My second question is, in your industry, how do you not compromise your values? And the third question is, did you have to learn to make beats, or was that just like a gift, or just
Okay.
how
So
you
question one is,
What was the first question?
Question one is people that's trying to get into the industry, the flexibility or accessibility. How do you balance that right now?
as far as meeting people?
Yeah, well, or somebody that's trying to get to where you are.
How do I balance? The question.
Well, like somebody starting from the ground up, how do you like make time, or I guess mentorship?
Oh, mentor up and coming guys.
Yeah.
Oh man, I learned a long time ago. Don't sleep on nobody. Period. Point blank. I mean, I can name names of people you guys know right now who was literally. Listen, I learned. I mean, producers who are huge, artists who are huge, who were like, "Yo, Kane, I just want to work with you," and I was so busy when I could have gave them 5 minutes and planted a seed that would have lasted forever. So now I don't sleep on anybody. I make time for everybody. Like I told you, I want to talk to every single person here because that one conversation will last so long. And I've learned that, and I mean, I've been doing this 10, 12 years, and I've seen people rise, I've seen people fall. So for me, it's always being humble. If you forget, because I've been that person who was on his high horse, I've been that person who was humble. So for me, it's always, you have to remain humble, because if you don't, you'll get passed up. If you don't, you miss opportunities or you miss relationships that you could have valued. You know what I mean? People you could have valued. Like, let me give you, like, there's a huge producer named Metro Boomin, one of my good friends. I could have signed him. I didn't want to. And he's a blessed individual, but looking at where he came from, it made me realize that any person can be the next star. It is not about where you come from, it's not about where you live. And when you put that mentality on, you won't miss a conversation with somebody who has if somebody has the audacity to walk up to me, because that takes a lot in themselves, I'm gonna have a convo with them, even if it's 2 minutes, because I know that person could be the next person. And I know it sounds weird, but it happens every day. Every single day, a person here could be your boss. You know what I mean? The next question.
The next question was, how do you maintain your values in the industry?
My wife, 100% my wife. She's literally the key to me staying grounded at this point in my life. I wouldn't be able to be, I mean, without her, I don't know where I'd be. I'd be probably crazy running somewhere. But I mean, really, she keeps me grounded 100%. She don't let me get big-headed. Daniel, come over here, take that trash out. You know what I mean? So really, it's her.
And I think it was, if you just had a gift to make beats, or did you have to learn to do that?
It's a little bit of both. I had a gift for knowing, I have an ear for knowing when it's good. Do you know what I mean? I think what sets me apart from everybody is knowing when I'm bad. A lot of people can't tell when they do something bad. I can tell when it's not good. And so for me, I could always do good beats. To me, the struggle was getting the computer to work with me. So I had to spend a lot of time learning. I had to spend a lot of time perfecting, a lot of time learning the ins and outs of these programs, because there's a whole technical aspect to it that will hinder you if you don't know how to get there. So for me, it was, I self-taught myself the ear, but as far as working, it was, man, so many people stepped in and helped me in my life. It was like, I had a lot of good teachers. In college at ORU, my teacher found out I got a record deal, and he said, you don't have to do anything else in this class except make beats. And so I literally had my music teacher, my music technology teacher, help me make beats, and he taught me how to use Pro Tools and how to take my beats out of a computer into Pro Tools and make it so everyone could use it. So yeah, I had a lot of teachers growing up.
Cool, man. Well, Kane, thanks,
Thank you,
man.
guys.
I love your passion for people. I mean, clearly, you're blind if you can't see the passion that you have, and I think that's going to take you further than your music will, man. So thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it, man.